Welcome back to the 9th Gym program, and today we are continuing our Restricted Legendaries guide with Palkia. Now, Palkia is actually a really interesting Pokemon. Being Water Dragon typing is very good. It has two mediocre abilities, however. It has Pressure, which just, doubles the amount of PP used against it. And then it also has Telepathy, which just means it doesn't take damage from attacks made by its allies. So, if your partner Pokemon uses, like, Surf, you wouldn't get hit. So it's not that good, but it's not bad. Like, they're fine abilities to have. So I just went for Pressure. But if on the team, if you have like a lot of like Earthquake and stuff, then you might as well go for Telepathy. So it really depends on the team comp. But for now, Palkia, Water Dragon, pretty good. Water Dragon typing is pretty normal. Only 2 weaknesses, but 3 resistances. The weaknesses being Dragon and Fairy, so they're pretty good. Weaknesses to have. Neither are like insanely used. They're both pretty good though. Like in the format, like both pretty used well in the format. So you have things to watch out for with Palkia. Its stats are really solid overall. Very solid natural bulk with HP at 90 and defense at 100 and special defense at 120, which is very, very good. Putting that plus like Assault Vest could just make this Pokemon absolutely tanky in the special defense department. So that's pretty good. If you get rid of all their physical attackers, you're just getting slammed with special attackers. You're just like, okay, that's fine. Palkia didn't care, so that's cool. Anyway, as far as the offense goes, attack at 120 kind of sucks that it's so high because it just takes away from all of our other stats. But we are going to be using special attack, which is at 150. So you go for a special attack. Attack being at 120 is kind of dumb. You could use it physically if you wanted to, but it'd be pretty, bad. I wouldn't do it. Special attack at 150 is just like absurdly good, so you should be using that. And then speed at 100 is actually pretty good. We have a lot of speed 100 Pokemon, base 100 speed. It's actually, I think, the most populated speed tier to be at. We only have really like Charizard and Zapdos and a couple other Pokemon like Salamence on that speed tier that are frequently used. But yeah, we'll talk about that a little bit more on the speed tier, section of the video. So yeah, for now, let's go ahead and move on to the movesets that I have. So I actually have 2 movesets for today. The first one is going to be a Lustrous Orb / Life Orb, kind of Dynamax build that you just Dynamax and slap guys around, which is pretty good. So we have, we'll talk about that first. So Palkia at Lustrous Orb, it's the same as Life Orb, except you do 1.2 times damage instead of 1.3 times damage, and you don't take damage. So I say it's the same and then explain why they're completely different. They are different, but they're both very solid for just Dynamax sweepers, essentially. So Palkia at Lustrous Orb or Life Orb, either one works. Pressure ability, if your team has like Lando for like strong earthquakes, and probably just go Telepathy. It doesn't really matter. Like pressure won't come up that frequently, so it's fine to have either one. And then level 50, I don't know even why I say that. EVs, 4 HP, 252 into special attack, and 252 into speed, with being Timid Nature, giving it as fast as possible, the highest speed it can possibly be at, which will be at 167, which is actually pretty solid. So, being for a Dynamax Pokemon, it doesn't really need too many defensive calcs. When I was running damage calcs, it was really nothing that just, like, cohesively one-shots it frequently, so I just went for, all into special attack and speed. I think that makes for a pretty good scenario there for Palkia, so that's good. The second one is going to be more bulky, so yeah. EVs, that's the EVs, and then IVs just 0 attack, so you can minimize on the foul play damage and confusion damage, so makes sense. Anyway, for the attacks, I went Spacial Rend, Hydro Pump, Earth Power, and Protect. Protect is just good. Becoming Max Guard is really solid on a Max Dynamax Sweeper, being able to like eat a Max turn from your opponent's Max, repositioning. It's very good. Protect, very, very valued. Very valued. And then double stab here, dual stab being Spacial Rend and Hydro Pump, and then Earth Power for coverage. It does have a pretty deep move pool for coverage, so like not huge move pool, but like not bad. Power Gem, Hyper Beam, all of these things. I'll talk about them in a minute. So that's pretty good. So that's it for the first build, and then the second build of Palkia here is Assault Vest, and then a very bulky spread. So once again, pressure, but you can make it pressure or Telepathy depending on the team. And then you have, as far as the EV spread goes, 244 into HP, 12 defense, and then 252 into special attack. So I just wanted to max the special attack with 252, and then modest because it hit a lot of really good damage calcs to have. So I wanted to be Modest Nature and max special attack, and then the rest I just poured into HP and defense. I went for 244 just because I felt like the one additional point went a little bit further in defense. You could probably go 252 also, but also everybody hates my 252 4 spread, so it isn't 252 252 4. Thank you. I had a really hard time saying that there. Anyway, Modest Nature, pretty good. Just being as offensive as possible, which is really good. IV 0 attack once again, so, you can just minimize down on that foul play and confusion damage. Makes sense. And then as far as, the set, it's the same. It's identical except for Flamethrower instead of Protect. So, being Assault Vest, you can't use any kind of moves that aren't attacking. So Palkia just, Earthquake. Earthquake. What did I say that for? 4 attacks. Makes sense. Spacial Rend, Hydro Pump, Earth Power, and Flamethrower. Makes a lot of sense. Anyway, these are both pretty customizable. You can definitely switch up the item if you want to. Like I said, Life Orb works really well. Safety Goggles could work well. A Pinch Berry could work well for the secondary build. It's pretty good overall, pretty customizable there. And then also the move pool is very customizable. We have a lot of good moves, things like Power Gem, Hyper Beam, Ice Beam, Blizzard, Thunderbolt, Thunder, Fire Blast for great coverage and max moves if you need certain things on your team, like if you want weather or, the ability to switch up the terrain with like Thunder if you want to. A couple of good ideas there, just things to throw out there. And then also Trick Room is a very interesting option for this Pokemon. I know it's a little bit faster than Dialga, so it is going to be a little bit faster. So, Trick Room is... Why did I say that twice? Trick Room is good still as like a good just option to throw people off, but usually you probably won't be using Trick Room too much on Palkia, but you can. It's a good option. Like I was saying, it's a good option. Anyway, that is it for the options in the builds in general, movesets. So I'm going to talk about these 2 synergetic Pokemon in the bottom right corner, and then we're going to move on. So first off, I have Grimmsnarl. Screens is never, undervalued with these kind of Pokemon. Restricted, big Dynamax restricted Pokemon love sitting behind things like Screens, Intimidate, Snarl, a whole bunch of really good, damage modifying things, and Screens works really well. Grimmsnarl also just like doesn't, hate the type coverage. I mean, obviously Fairy's still like good, but it's fine. Palkia can destroy a lot of Pokemon that like you can Earth Power the big Steel Pokemon that can threaten the Grimmsnarl, so that's good, but it's really there for Screens, which is really good. Also Speed Control can be good. You have things like Lagging Tail and Switch or Switcheroo, or you also have things like Thunder. Why can't I think? Thunder Wave, Priority Thunder Wave, which is really good. So, yeah, the Grimmsnarl synergy is very good. And then next we have the Incineroar. Incineroar is a very, very good, powerful synergy as well. Being able to start off your great Fire, Water, Grass core that's just really solid in the game. Add Incineroar and Rillaboom to the team with Palkia, and it's a very, very solid core to just start off with. So that's probably where I would start. Maybe like Screens, Incineroar, Rillaboom, Palkia, just for a very basic start. And it's a very basic but very effective as well. And then just adding, like something that does a lot of damage, maybe like a Magnet Regieleki or like Urshifu or something. Just doing a lot of damage with like the last member is really good. But like I said, Fake Out's always appreciated. The damage deafening from Intimidate and Parting Shot is always appreciated. And the typing core is really good to start off with as well. So Palkia and Incineroar makes for a great team. Anyway, that is it for this part of the video. Let's go ahead and talk about speed tiers real quick, and then we'll move on. So speed tiers, like I said, 167 is a pretty good, very popular speed tier to be at. Things like Palkia, the Salamence, Zapdos, Charizard, Volcarona. There's a lot of really good Pokemon in that speed tier that are very used, and it's good to be at. So yeah, it's pretty good. It is very, very popular, so you're going to have some speed ties every now and again. Your opponent has like Charizard speed tying with, so Zapdos, a couple of speed ties there, but overall it's not a bad place to be at. There are a lot of Pokemon that are outspeeding it though. Nihilego at 170, Kartana at 177, Thundurus, Whimsicott, all these 170 to 200 Pokemon, Blacephalon, Garchomp, Tapu Koko, Cinderace, Dragapult, Choice Scarf Pokemon, Groudon, Kyogre Choice Scarf. You have a lot of good Pokemon at that speed tier that are outspeeding it, but still a lot of Pokemon that Palkia is outspeeding. Things like Xerneas, Veltal, Lunala, Solgaleo, Rayquaza, Tapu Lele, Lando T, Groudon, Kyogre. This 160, 150 to 170 speed tier is very, very populated now. So being at the top of that speed tier is really good against, a lot of big restricted Pokemon in the meta. Being able to outspeed those at base 100 is very good. So that is good. And then if you are going for the Assault Vest build or the just like a non-speedy build in general, then you'll be down here at 120, which is getting outsped by all these Pokemon. But Groudon, Kyogre, and like Excadrill are really the only Pokemon that are seeing a lot of play that are kind of above that 120 speed ratio, which is good. Even at base speed, Palkia is outspeeding things like Dialga, the Groudon, Kyogre if they're uninvested. You have a lot of things that it is outspeeding, which is good, even if you don't invest in speed. So, yeah, a couple of good things to note there. Anyway, that is for the speed tiers. Let's talk about damage calcs. So, as far as damage calcs go, a lot of these are going to be with the Modest Nature, by the way. Just actually all of them that are offensive, because I kind of like went more into that. It does provide the Guaranteed OHKO into a couple of things that it wouldn't without the Modest Nature. So, yeah. Good things to note. Anyway, first off, 252 plus special attacking max geyser from our Palkia into a 244 HP, 188 plus special defense. That's the current most used on Pikalytics. Hitting 119 to 141%, which is guaranteed OHKO against Incineroar, which is actually the number one Pokemon right now, and as far as usage goes on Pikalytics. So that is a really good calc to have. Next, we have 252 plus special attacking max geyser into a Dynamax Lando T with only 4 HP investments, hitting 106 to 125, which is guaranteed OHKO. Very good to know there. However, it will have Assault Vest a lot of the time, so that's not always consistent, but it probably won't be Dynamaxing that frequently in the face of Palkia, just because it doesn't really have any coverage that like deals with it. So you probably won't have to worry about it too frequently. Like if it doesn't Dynamax and has Assault Vest, you're still taking an OHKO. But yeah, good things to note. Next, we have Palkia Max Quake 252 plus into a 68 HP, 28 special defense. This is the most used currently on Pikalytics Regieleki that is bulky. That's not just like a 252 special attack modest or speed. So yeah, and through light screen, this is important because a lot of these Regielekis that have defensive investment will be using screens. So behind light screen, we're still taking a 119 to 140%, which is a guaranteed OHKO. So that is a very good calc to have as well. Ripping the Regieleki away after only using light screen, albeit that is very impactful. With Palkia, with a max Palkia in front of it, it's still very good to just take that out immediately and start focusing damage down on other things. So that's good. A couple of defensive calcs here. +1 from Calm Mind, 140 plus special attacking Tapu Fini Max Starfall. Whole lot of things there. Into our 244 HP, 0 special defense but Assault Vest Palkia, hitting 77.5 to 92.8, which is guaranteed to a KO. Notably, this is also not Dynamaxed, so that's really cool if you want to go ahead and they're going for like a late game Dynamax, and they choose Tapu Fini after like a Calm Mind or 2 even, but like, yeah, 1 Calm Mind. They're attacking into the Assault Vest Palkia. Maybe they haven't discovered it's the Assault Vest, or they don't know the calc offhand. They're not taking an OHKO, which is very, very good. Next, we have 252 physical attack Life Orb, Dragapult Max Wormwind into our 244 HP, 12 defense Dynamaxed Palkia, hitting 68 to 81%, guaranteed to a KO, which is really, really good. And also, like, the Max Wormwind doesn't really even matter because we're not a physical attacker, so that's really good. And then returning that swing into the Dragapult is a 252 plus special attack Max Wormwind from our Palkia into their 4 HP Dynamax Dragapult, hitting 104 to 123, which is guaranteed OHKO. And if it's like an offensive Dragapult, it's almost always going to be using no defensive, no defensive investment. So that should be a pretty positive matchup every time you face that. So that's good. Anyway, that is it for damage calcs. Let's talk about single spotlight real quick before I end the video. So it's very, very similar to the base Life Orb Dynamax version of Palkia. Pretty much exactly what you would expect. Life Orb pressure, dual stab there with Spacial Rend and the Hydro Pump, and then Thunder and Fire Blast, just because they offer the most damage as a Dynamax Pokemon with great coverage. So that's really good. It's just going to be a bulky, naturally bulky Life Orb Dynamax sweeper. It's nothing too special, nothing too crazy, pretty basic. Special attack 252 and then speed at 252 as well, with that Timid Nature, giving it as fast as possible, just making a max speed, which is really good. And then also the leftover 4 into special defense, because singles, you can afford to just go into one of those two really easily and just focus down on special attackers with this Pokemon, so it's pretty good. Anyway, that is it for the video. Thank you so much for watching. I hope you enjoyed. If you did, leave a like, comment, subscribe. Means a huge, means a whole lot. Palkia, in sum up, I think Palkia is really solid. Actually, I'm really excited to actually make a good team around Palkia. I think it's really solid. So, yeah, that's it for the video. Subscribe. Goodbye. Have a good week. Goodbye.